Hello friends, in this video I am going to talk about analysis of data for qualitative research. In this videos series I have spoken to you about qualitative research, and now in this particular video I will be talking about the data analysis process. After collecting the data for your qualitative research, as a researcher you need to decide on the analysis process, whether you want to do a content analysis, feature analysis, sentiment analysis. You want to analyze the data collected through word clouds. You may use softwares. You may also take the help of softwares which are available like NVivo. But before we start to do our analysis, we need to sort and clean the data collected. So we begin with familiarization with the data collected, which we have collected by face-to-face interview, focus group discussions. So we need to now listen to those audio tapes, watch the video tapes, read diaries, which we have maintained in our field visits, field trips, read the documents which we have collected, try to transcribe those recorded material, try to put them in suitable indexes, do some indexing, organizing and indexing of that data which has been collected so that they are easily available for future use, for future retrieval if required. They may not be presently very important. We may have collected a lot of information. Some of it may be very important for exploring the prepositions which we have set at the beginning of the research. But some may not be very relevant, we may now feel. So we may set aside and let not that information go waste. It might be useful for us in some other study. So we may do some indexing and some organization of that data for easy identification and retrieval in future. Then we need to codify that information into small groups of similar information. Information which are of a similar nature may be codified into, put into codes of one kind, the next group of a similar kind into a second code, and these codes then can be put, those that have a similar pattern, into nodes, and then nodes into similar nodes into generic themes. And from these themes we can then develop a theory, maybe at the end of our research, which will be helpful for the quantitative researchers to draw hypotheses which they can then use in the study for testing through statistical methods. Finally, before we need to close on our qualitative research, we need to test that whatever we have built on as a theory is valid and reliable, which means it can be replicated and we can move from specific to generalizations, right? So first was coding, which is very essential, which is assigning labels to data so that they are easily identified, and we are putting labels so that they can be identified to observe similar nature, and then we try to put codes of a similar nature having similar kind of information into nodes, and nodes finally are having similar pattern into themes, which are broad categories. And then from this conceptual framework which we have integrated, synthesized, we build theories, and finally we test our theories. Therefore, by default, as a qualitative researcher, there may be some bias which may have come into your research study. Knowingly, unknowingly, you might have tried to disallow your bias from coming into the study which you are investigation you are doing by being a passive observer, by not actively getting involved in the research, being keeping your bias always away from your study knowingly. But then you must check your at the end of your study your research results for validity and reliability. Therefore, you're checking your results for internal validity and external validity. Now, your external validity can be checked if you are able to apply your specific results and move your specific results to wider generalizations. You find that your specific results are applicable to much broader, much numerous cases or more individuals. Then your results are dependable and they are transferable. And this can be achieved by triangulation. That means there can be data triangulation, which means data which you have collected. If any other investigator, interviewer would have gone to the same field, would have collected the same sort of information, right? So it could be interviewer triangulation or data triangulation also. Same individuals, you're going to same individuals, different interviewers getting the same information, right? That could help. Then now internal validity is also very important. Internal validity means checking whether what you wanted to investigate, whatever information actually you wanted to explore and get, were you able to get to that information, the relevant information which was required as an answer to the prepositions, to the research questions. Have you been able to get that in-depth knowledge, insights are now available to you as solutions to your propositions or your research questions, which means have your sampling units been able to generate enough data, information, and that information has been collected till the point of data saturation or data redundancy, which means you only stopped collecting your data at a point when you felt that no new information, no new insights are coming from the number of cases now you're exploring or number of individuals or documents you are now investigating. They are not reporting any new kind of information, any new dimension to the already collected information. So that would help to check on the internal validity of your data results. So it is very, very important that we do the data triangulation. We can check on this by using number of methods and getting to the same kind of information, whether we use focus group discussions or we have observation method or we do in-depth interview of a specific individual. We come to the same information. So that is data triangulation, getting to similar data by using a multiple mix of methods of qualitative research. Or investigator triangulation, as I said, when we 2 or 3 investigators go to the same field and collect the same type of information, that could be helping us in checking the validity and reliability of our research results. Multiple triangulation, when we use a mix of data and investigator triangulation, that would also help us to find out the reliability and the validity of our results. This is a flow chart given by Flick 2006, where he has used cases and the theory or set of questions. They have been collected from case to case, and when they were compared to each other, they help us in accepting or rejecting the propositions which we have set in the beginning of the study. So it is a case where multiple cases have generated the same kind of information or diverse kind of information which has helped us to build our conceptual framework for building our theory. So as qualitative researchers, we need to be very, very cautious. We need to understand the limitations of the time periods. The qualitative researcher has to spend a lot of time, long durations in the research study to gain insights, gain meaningful insights, insights which are opening new dimensions to the experiences, attitudes, beliefs, lives of individuals and cases. And you must be able as a researcher to draw and demonstrate clear linkages between conclusions which are more generic and those information which are more specific to the cases that are investigated, so that you are able to broadly synthesize and collaborate your conceptual framework drawn from the concepts which is built on codes, nodes, and themes of a similar pattern. And then you must be always honest and transparent. If there are exceptions to the results which have been found in your study, you must make a mention of that. Exceptions should not be avoided, should not be neglected, but they should also find a place in your qualitative research results. And you must report them also. Therefore, to conclude today, in this series of videos, we have studied that qualitative research is mostly focused on unstructured data. The limit of that collection is based on data saturation or data exhaustion. Here we are not building a research study on any hypothesis because there is no theory on which qualitative research is based. It is based on prepositions. It is based on reality, on certain observed experiences, attitudes where we are trying to explore them further to gain new dimensions, to prove or to reject what we believe to be the outcome of these, so that we are able to build a theory. And usually we rely in qualitative research on the approach of grounded theory. Theory which moves from specific to more generalized conceptions which can be applied to wider number of cases and wider number of experiences. So therefore, we are trying to not to test hypotheses but find answers to our research questions which are based on the prepositions, which are set in the beginning of the study. Thank you, viewers. Stay tuned